What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on in NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Kansas City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, everybody, today's topic, we are going to talk about LSU wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase. Interesting prospect to break down. A lot of hard feelings here in Philadelphia because of the move out of the top 10. There's going to be an element of we could have potentially been in position for a player like this kind of elite talent. I get it, guys. It's opening up wounds. I understand. But I want to get into some things that aren't just surface level, guys. There's a lot of surface level analysis going around right now about Ja'Marr Chase. And I want to dig deep, guys. I want to dig deep into what this young man is as a football player.
Defensive lineman, but Skalski comes streaming through. Now, can Chase get there? Yes, he can. Sidesteps a tackler. He's got a convoy still running.
To begin with, two things really stood out to me when I looked at the advanced analytics and then I confirmed the film. Number one thing is, this kid is probably the best deep ball threat to come through the league in quite some time. But it's a different type of deep ball threat. This isn't your D-Jax type of deep ball threat. This isn't Deshaun Jackson type, right? This is an odd, physical, strong, can get the ball at the catch point and can make people pay.
Play fake to Edwards-Helaire. Burrow going for all of it. Caught. Touchdown.
Just give you the numbers here, guys. 24 deep ball receptions, meaning 20 yards or greater when they say deep ball, guys. That is the most in a college football season. That is the type of threat this young man is on vertical concepts. On the season, he was 24. This was 2019 stats, guys. He was 24 of 36. 14 of those 24 receptions were for touchdowns.
5 receiver look. Burrow steps up and we'll take it downfield. Shot and has Chase and he'll score.
He had 200 yards of yak. This is one of the best yak receivers in this draft class, guys. 200 yards of yak. And he had an average depth of target of 29.6. 13 contested throws. 9 contested catches on the vertical concepts, guys.
Negative 1 yard. Clemson brings the pressure. It's picked up, and now Burrow is launching downfield. And it's Chase again who's got the catch. And again, fighting inside.
For a 53.8% contested catch rate, which is really high. Tells you that he's very strong at the point of attack, guys, at making those receptions. But I want to focus in on another aspect here, and it has to do with this yak, the yards after catch, because I'll be honest with you, even I was wrong on some of the aspects about Ja'Marr Chase early on in his draft class. I didn't think that he'd be the greatest fit in Philadelphia's scheme initially because most of the yak that I was seeing when I first started really watching Ja'Marr Chase was mostly vertical. It was mostly on these vertical concepts. I was like, look, I'm not going to, yak is yak. I get it. But, I wanted to see more on his film from the underneath stuff. Well, then I really went and did my due diligence and broke him down like I would do any high school prospect that I'm scouting for a college program, guys. And what I noticed was this young man had 684 yards of yak in 2019. An 8.1 yak per reception average, guys. And he broke 22 tackles. Not only is this kid good at the catch point, not only is he very, very good at the deep ball, he's also a yak machine.
Burrow looked that way and fires across. Catch made by Ja'Marr Chase, who escaped.
This kid, he can hurt a team in so many different ways. And when you break down where the yak was occurring, it's interesting because he got you on the deep routes with 200 yak yards. The medium, intermediate routes, right? 132 yards of yak. And then on the short routes, 328 yards of yak.
Burrow zips a short pass. It's caught. Chase breaks a tackle.
And that's where I want to dive into for just a split second here, right? Yes, we can talk about all the things about these deep routes. But what I thought what really sold him to me is hey, this kid is not just a vertical threat. This is the true X receiver in the 2021 draft class, is the fact that he was 38 of 51. So 38 receptions against 51 attempts, right? For 3 touchdowns, an average depth of target of 5.3 yards, 6 contested catches, and then he had a what they call receiving value, so grading his route running, of a 95.3 with only 3 drops in these tight window contested areas, guys.
Rose completes it somehow.
Simply put, he dominated. He dominated down low and over the top. Now, I will tell you, the one thing that was a little disappointing is when you looked at the way they utilized him. So I definitely saw him play a little bit in the slot.
Far for negative 1 yard. Clemson brings the pressure. It's picked up, and now Burrow is launching downfield.
I definitely saw him play, obviously as an X-boundary side split and receiver. I mean, that's the obvious here.
He's got his 3,000. Season. He's got Jamar Chase again to the 20.
But I didn't see a ton of reps from him as a flanker. So I think he's got adequate foot speed if you watch the film. He could do it if you really wanted him to. I think that they felt very secure at LSU of having, Jamar Chase be their X receiver, having Justin Jefferson be their slot, and then they had a pretty good flanker already out there who we're seeing in this 2021 draft class. So there wasn't a lot of necessity for this. There just wasn't. And that kind of shows up on his numbers, guys. No receptions, no attempts, no targets on the right side of the field. I will tell you this. When they say the right side of the field, understand that, because this is really frustrating with PFF and places like this, they're not referring literally to the left or the right side of the field. When they say left or right or center, they're really referring to like left side meaning the boundary side, right side meaning playing as a flanker on the field side, right? Sometimes that gets flipped and the field side can theoretically be your left side, but they should really put a disclaimer in there for that, because it's a little frustrating when you go watch the film. You're like, wait a minute, this isn't adding up. He didn't play a lot from that. He didn't produce a lot from there, guys. One of the common things that I'm hearing about Jamar Chase in terms of the criticism is that because he was so physical at the point of attack, right? Because he was so good at tracking footballs vertically, they wonder if at his stature, about 6'1", a little under 210, I believe, can he hold up to NFL level competition? I find this one to be a little laughable to me, because the film I'm showing you comes from 3 games: Alabama and Trayvon Diggs. I thought they were going to throw hands in this game.
Into it. Play action.
Okay? Florida and C.J. Henderson. They were even barking it up and getting at each other.
Yeah, we keep talking over and over this year about Joe Burrow. These two have been going at it all night.
And then Clemson and A.J. Terrell. These are 3 NFL caliber cornerbacks right there. That doesn't take for the facts of playing it against Georgia, Tyson Campbell and Eric Stokes. They're future NFL cornerbacks. He practiced. In his freshman year, I believe he would have been practicing against the likes of Christian Fulton, who's in the NFL now, by the way, and also Greedy Williams. I don't know that I buy the excuse I hear from people saying that, well, one criticism we could say is we don't know if this game will translate to the NFL. Well, it translated against guys that are suiting up on Sundays already. So I don't know how much stock to put into that stuff, guys. It seems a little ridiculous to me as a criticism, but I can't sit here and lie to you and tell you it's there.
And he's had against the safety.
You got 23. Burrow looking to throw again for the end zone, laying out.
Just going back to finish this conversation out, guys, I'll give you a little bit more information that's kind of pertinent and tells you a little bit about this young man. What I will tell you is this, guys. When you look at his production as a receiver in terms of touchdowns and things like that, guys, he really only scored in 4 locations. All 3 phases of the center of the field. So in the middle of the field between the hashes, whether it's short, so between 1 and 9 yards, whether it was essentially the mid-range of 10 to 19 yards, or the deep range of basically 20 yards or greater, and then also the deep left corner where he scored, basically what they're saying is the boundary side, guys, where he scored basically 3 touchdowns there. So that's where his production primarily came from. So working inside and then working that top boundary side was where the majority of his touchdown production came from. He was pretty decent underneath on the right. So if you're looking as a flanker, if you're looking getting him underneath into the right-hand side, guys, 10 completions, 12 attempts, 10 receptions basically on 12 attempts, guys. They only gave him a 79.5, but it's a half point outside of an 80, which would be pretty much like the grade you want to look for there. So, I mean, he was pretty good in that phase of the things. Even though he didn't have an attempt and he didn't have a reception, they still graded him out as a 99.9, even in the upper right-hand corner. So, flanker, deep, over 20 yards, right-hand side, if you will, normally of the field, or basically the field side. Even though he didn't get there when they looked at his route running, they still graded him out as a 99.9, which is incredibly high, guys. It means that they were very high on this young man. He can play. He's a football player, guys. All right, this is the video, guys. This is what I think about Ja'Marr Chase. I will give you some more information, guys. 92.4 grade versus man coverage. Second highest graded player against man coverage when you look at the guys in this draft class.
Same page.
Burrow from the pocket, launches to the end zone. Caught!
The only person that was graded higher was obviously Devontae Smith, who had a 96 point something, guys. So Ja'Marr Chase beat man coverage. He beat zone coverage. He's great at the catch point. He's really great at tracking the football. And this guy's a yak monster. He just eats people up with yak yardage. All right, guys, that's what I got for y'all today. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about Ja'Marr Chase, guys? I'll go out on a hunch and I'll tell you this. You can come back to this video and you can dog me if I'm wrong. You can say, Gate, man, you bought into the Ja'Marr Chase hype big time. You were wrong. I think this kid is not just a good football player. I think this is a generational talent. I think we're looking at a generational talent. I'll leave that as my hot take, and it's I don't even think that's a hot take, guys. I think this is quite obvious when you just look at it, guys. All right, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget, guys, if you want to support the channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Link is in the description below. Don't forget to like and comment on the video, guys. This is what spikes the algorithm and gets it suggested to other people. And last but not least, if you're not subscribed, I would love to add you to the community. But in order to do that, I'm going to need you to hit that subscription button. All right, guys, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you on the next video.